thank you for taking the time today to come and meet with me, or I've come to meet with you, because I really do appreciate the fact that we get along so well, and at Purple Playground we really do love helping businesses like yours, and I think this is one of the, I guess, best stories, an ongoing story. We've been working together for about 18 months.
Yes.
Is that what your recollection is?
Yeah.
Sweet. And I guess it'd be really helpful if you could explain, why do you think you needed HR in the first place, and how did you find us?
It's funny you say 18 months, because after our first year, I think Carla had said, "Oh, so is that it now with Purple Playground?" I said, "No, we've got X, Y, Z. We're rolling out with them." And she definitely, because it's not her part of the business, I'm more that side. She wasn't really aware of what you guys were bringing to the table for us. But now, if you asked her, she definitely sees the worth of getting HR involved. As you know, we experienced so much growth, especially in this first 7-8 years of the business. So we're a 10-year-old company now. In that first 7-8 years, we could not, there was no breathing room to catch our tails. And I think that's a wonderful problem to have, but you often overlook some of the small things that businesses should be doing. And we certainly got to a point where, hang on, we need someone to come in and do an overhaul of everything that a business should be, the foundations of the business.
Which was ultimately, you were wearing one of the many hats as a business owner, and that was one of your hats, and you still wear the HR hat, technically.
A little bit, but yeah, no, we were spread extremely thin. I felt like I was doing a lot, because once upon a time it was just 5 of us, and it was fine, and we weren't that busy, but we're in over 150 stores now globally, and there wasn't enough hours in the day to do everything I was doing. And that being said, I have a background in social work, but I wouldn't say I have a background in HR. I've always found that I'm a people person, but I don't think, it's hard to be an expert in dealing with people.
Well, each person's unique,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And their own challenges and their own, I guess, gifts that they bring to a workplace, and then all of those made up, in my experience, create a culture. And I think when we came on board about 18 months ago, it was really refreshing to see someone like yourself who was so invested in wanting to do the right thing by their people, which, to be honest, isn't always what we see, particularly coming from corporate world. It's tick in the box kind of stuff. But what made you go, right, well, we need HR? Or
I'd be lying if I said I knew how much HR covered. For me, probably, I used to think that HR was the people that you went to if you had a problem. That was probably why I'd pigeonholed HR.
Is that because you were one of the naughty people?
Yeah. On all my previous employment, I was always with HR.
But that's true. Most people actually think, in my view, what I've heard of HR is one of two things. One is, to help when there's something that goes wrong, and that's, managing people out, or performance management, or those sorts of things, which is such a shame. The second thing, in my experience, people think HR is those wishy-washy people who come in and do all the training things, and they stick stickies on the wall, and we get time out of work, and then we had a good time, but then I've got to go back to my desk and do the work. And I don't remember what we did on that day with that chick and the sticky notes. Nothing's embedded. So. But you had a pain point, and we call them pain points, but it was more around, was it your compliance piece of what we call it?
So on the compliance piece, we did have contracts, but didn't know if they were suitable. We had lawyers do them up, but I don't know, I always find lawyers don't have that. You hit the nail on the head before when you say culture. I don't always think they have the employee at the forefront of creating the contract too. So wanted something done, policies introduced and contracts double checked on making them more palatable for the employee. Because Carla and I pride ourselves on, we want people to love working here. Culture is my passion inside this company. Designing wedding dresses is Carla's. But as we were growing, we went from 10 to 30 employees relatively quickly. And once that was happening, I kind of lost touch of that nice close culture we had in the office, and we didn't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So I thought bringing someone on that the staff or that our team could connect with, and just even Carla and myself, our business manager, if we need to bounce things off or just as a sounding board, that's probably been one of the biggest things, because you and your team are phenomenal listeners.
That sounds like, I think what I'm hearing is you came to us for like, that stuff you finally got, you escalated quite quickly in your business, which is very common, and that's our sort of ideal market, helping those people that are trying to do all the things, wear all the hats. And then I hear that you, I really appreciate like the rapport and us being there for you. So how did you actually, let's go back a step, how did you actually hear about us, or how did you find us? Like, refresh my memory.
So we had an employee put forward Purple Playground as an option, because we'd kind of talked to the team saying like we were considering either getting someone in-house or externally to help out with our policy suite and updating contracts. And had a little sticky beak on your website, and then I don't know if I called you first or I'd emailed or whatever, but once I met you, it was signed, sealed, delivered. I was like, no, I love Sally. I love what they represent. I think that we're going to give them a go. Yeah.
And that's awesome. That's my recollection, although I do struggle. I can't remember if it was a phone call or an email anyway, but I do know that the minute we connected, I went, I really do want to help you guys. I know that we've got something to offer, and I really want to help your organisation and what you stand for, because if not for any other reason, that you were so people first, you employee first, even though you were the business owner, even though you've gone through the hard slog. And but so refreshing to see that an employee of yours had recommended us, because they'd worked somewhere else before where we'd actually helped their company as well. So that's a little moment for us. Like, I think that's really good to hear, particularly from an employee perspective as well, not just employer. So we have done some of the compliance pieces, as you said, employment contracts. I think we always start off with that. Hey, let's see where we are, mitigate your risk, and that's position descriptions. I think we did policies, all those fun HR policies.
Yeah, so we didn't have any position descriptions. That was a big one for us. We didn't have any of those. We simply had the contracts that we'd made. And if we were onboarding anyone, we didn't really have an onboarding process. Normally we would think, we need this person, we should have had them yesterday, and we frantically put an ad on Seek or reach out. Does anyone know anyone who has needs work or whatever? And then this was very early on in the piece. And then we started realizing, look, that's probably not the best way to do it. And the people that you find aren't always going to be the most suitable for the job. Almost never are they the right suitable person for the job. So bringing on you guys, working through what position we actually needed, putting the position description together, then do a proper onboarding process. I think that's been really helpful. And then going back on the contracts, it's not only making them, but keeping them up to date. So this past 18 months, we've re-looked at people. We've said, their roles kind of slightly changed, so we've reworked the position description. We've checked if that's still the award that they should be on. All these little things that definitely would have gone on the back burner before when I was managing HR. It's kind of a weight that's been lifted off my shoulders now. Yeah. And
so good to hear. And how about, has there been anything that you mentioned, Carla might have mentioned, that it's been surprising, some of the things you didn't expect to get from HR? Can you think of what some of those things were? Like, you kind of reached out to do some of that compliance piece and then realised there's so much more to HR than you realised as a business owner. Do you know what some of those things might be? Like strategy?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. It's funny, when we tee up a meeting, sometimes we think, we might not need this meeting this fortnight. We don't have much on. Like the next few days, our agenda items, we've got 10 things on the agenda list. So there's always something that pops up, and you guys are always available for a chat. Whether it's like bouncing some sort of strategy off or double checking something, or we've got some team members that are querying something, it's just always reassuring that we can go to the professionals, get some advice, and then go back to the team and relay that, or alternatively, if they're reaching out to you directly. I don't think I answered your question.
No, that's good to hear. Well, one of our little taglines is we systemize the process and humanize the experience.
Yeah.
And the humanized experience, I think we've touched on, is in, yes, there's nothing wrong with employment lawyers and their contracts, absolutely, there's a place for them. What we do is try to make things more bespoke to the business. You're right, it's not just about the employer for us, it's about the employee, whether it's contracts or position descriptions or policies, etc. We try and give the right tone of voice to that company, and whether it's brand values and everything else. But the systemizing process, so we try to streamline, you touched on it when you talked about onboarding, and how something that seems so simple doesn't mean we overcomplicate things, in my view. It means that we can put a process to it that can once again bring it back in and simplify it and just make it just work. And I feel like Employment Hero was one of the things that we have done for you guys over the last few months, or longer than that actually, which is a human resource information system. How is that us helping integrate that into your business? Can you talk to a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I remember initially when you guys introduced me to it, I kind of wanted let's get it up and running now, because I was at my wit's end. My filing system was not the best. I basically had a folder for every employee, and then sometimes
I was about to joke, was it an actual filing system? Okay,
yeah, an old binder. No, it was old school, and I really liked the fact that you guys had introduced Employment Hero to me, and that would be the source of truth for everything. So that would, and not just I have it, the employees have access. So if they're out and about and they need to see something in their contract for some reason, or they need to see a timesheet or whatever it is, or their latest policy if they need to check something, if they're traveling and what can I spend on this for dinner, or how much I'm allowed to spend on tax, anything like that. It's at their fingertips through the Swag app. I really like that, because that's cutting out another middleman. Instead of someone coming to me saying, hey, what's this? Can you tell me this? Then I might not know it off the top of my head. I've got to look at it. They can do the work themselves and actually have a look. So that's been really handy. I really like it. We've been using the Employment Hero dollar reward system, which has been fun. We have little milestones set up, so every year they're with us, every birthday they get points which they can use for vouchers, which has been really nice. We've even got a little in-house gifting system for any random acts of kindness within the company. People are awarded 1,000 hero points.
Excellent.
Which has been really nice. Yeah.
I love that. And you empower your employees to do that for other people. It doesn't just come from top down.
No, it's not from us.
And you use Employment Hero for that vehicle to reward.
Yeah.
That's
it's
excellent.
been great.
Yeah. And you came up with that on your own. We can't take credit for that one.
I did.
That's
but
awesome.
you can pay it forward to other people.
Well, we will. Yeah, we will. Borrow that idea. Yeah. What would you say to someone who's thinking, or a company, and I guess we love working with e-commerce brands, purpose-driven, people who just really do care about their people, that are looking for some sort of HR help or people and culture help. It's obviously that, I guess, thought process. Do I go in-house? Do I go external? And what would you say to those people, and how would you position Purple Playground, as in if it's beneficial, or why do it? Why come with us?
I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, I think you've got to get your company to a point where you could afford it, but you've also got to weigh up what is it costing you not having it. I think that's the big thing. I think for us, for a while, we thought, we don't need it. And then we probably got it too late, to be honest. Like I've touched on that, the way I had things set up was not ideal, and that's been a massive change. I can honestly say, since bringing you guys on, that our systems are so much better. They're 100 times better, much cleaner. I don't have that. I used to get a bit anxious with that type of stuff, or updating updating everyone's contracts or double checking, because there's so much red tape and paperwork to know, but now it's right there for me. And if I find it and don't understand it, to check in with the two ladies you've allocated for us. I don't know if I can use their names.
Yeah. So the way we work, just to explain the way we work, we partner with 2 of our team members, and you have fortnightly meetings. And I think you said before, it was, you may sometimes think, oh, we don't need it, it's a bit too much, but I don't think there's any harm in then going, well, we walk away, we just say hi, everything's fine, and off we go. But I don't really think that's ever happened.
No, we always find something to chat about. Even if we think it's going to be a short meeting, we'll work through some issues, even like, I guess, being proactive with stuff. We talk about the future.
Is it the task stuff that we've done as well as the relationships to bounce off each other? What's most important to you? Like, how have you generally found it?
Since using Purple Playground, I've found it way easier to navigate through problems I was having as a business owner. Whether it was with the team or with the growth or planning, it's been so much easier to just send out an email, pick up the phone, whether it's an owner-to-owner chat with you and just like run something by you, or with the girls. It saves me a lot of stress and any anxiety I have about doing anything wrong. Because right now, if we make the wrong decision, it can be a costly one. So I feel like I often have like it's not educated, it's not just guessing game anymore. It's an educated guess now.
Yeah. So put it this way, if you could talk to the old Josh, what would you say? What advice would you give about HR?
I would say, hurry up and ring them. I would say, Josh, the way you're doing things is wrong. It's slow. It's not organised. You think it is, but it's not. It can be so much better, and you don't have to be as stressed. You don't have to be working overtime to try to sort this stuff out. You can actually offload you can get out of the weeds. That's a term you've told me. Get out of the weeds, because I found I was very much in the weeds doing stuff that I didn't need to be doing. That was the same as Carla. Like Carla's, she should be spending time designing her dresses, making them the best dresses she can. She shouldn't be bogged down with all this other stuff that comes with running a business. But it's now given us the chance to focus on building the business, and you guys are helping us run it smoothly. Yeah.
Excellent. I call that high value activities.
Yes.
Everyone, doesn't mean that the people side is any less valuable. It's certainly could be one of your biggest costs. Could be one of your biggest costs in business. But you're right about, say, Carla, for instance. Her high value activity is in the design phase. And when you can look at it that way, I think it adds so much value. But
one of the best things we've done together has been a role clarity session for Carla and myself, because it kind of highlighted how much stuff we were doing that not only did we not necessarily like doing, but that was wasting our time. And you guys helped us identify that and then reallocate those things to other people, or identify new positions we needed to bring in the company to take that responsibility off us.
No, that's really good to hear, because most people come in asking for one thing and we sort of steer them to it's another. It's like when you said with employment here, I want it and I want it now. It's like we have a reason to slow it down, and it's not just so we can be slow and methodical. We're very structured as well, but we can also look at your strategy and know if we do things right. And it's the same with most people come, I need to rechange the organisational structure. And we're like, okay, that sounds great, because you've obviously got goals and where you want to get to, but then we start to look at, let's bring it back in a little bit and look at role clarity. And definitely the place to start is with the business owners, because they're used to wearing all the hats. And it's how do you actually focus on those high value activities. And you're lucky you get to choose where you want to play. We call it play, obviously, and around in your business, and what roles do you need, and not just, that reactive recruitment cycle around, plugging a hole. It's about who can you bring on your team that is going to add value for the long term and really be part of your existing culture at the same time.
Yeah. I like that word reactive, because that's certainly something I felt like we were, especially in the first 5-6 years. But now, definitely a bit more strategy involved now, and it's paying off. I think our last few hires have been really, really good.
Yeah, because they've been planned, and it's about taking that proactive approach to your people and culture, as opposed to, oh, the culture's not great, what can we do here? And yours has always been great, but that's probably why you may have had hesitations around, well, why do we need HR? But there's a whole different, many reasons why, but it's great to hear it from your perspective.
Another great thing that you guys do, well, I found, not so much now because you know the business, but Purple Playground's discovery with our business. You guys didn't just come in and start changing everything. You spent time learning about our business and what we needed. I think that was really good.
Can you think of any other areas where we really added value, particularly that something that's not so obvious? Has there been something where you didn't think that was HR or didn't expect that? And what does that look like?
Something that's probably been a surprise to me is I feel like I'm really approachable for the team, but they don't always come to me with what they want or how they're feeling. So whether that goes through the business manager or directly to you guys, it's something that you can assist with. So we've had probably some professional growth within inside the company, which I think has been important. It hasn't always been there for our team. Whether there's things within their role that they don't actually like, they've had a chance to evolve that role within their position descriptions. And then maybe, same as what we were talking about before, for a role clarity session for us, it's helped us identify the strengths of that particular employee, where they should spend their time, where they would excel. And then, okay, so now we've got a gap here, let's fill that gap. So I think when we brought you guys on, I want to say we had roughly 20 staff. Now the team's 35. And the team as a whole is just running like smoothly. It's very efficient now.
What are you looking forward to working with us on next, Josh?
So the next thing we're going to work on is a better system for our performance reviews. In the past, and it wasn't always a bad thing, but we might have had a new team member and they're on a 6-month probation, and then you find out, oh, they've been here for 9 months already. I was like, oh, I never had a 6-month meeting with you. Like, how are you enjoying your role?
Time just flies.
No, but like because we were juggling so many balls, maybe we just lost track of time, or maybe they're doing so well that you never really checked in with them, and you're just assuming that they're loving their role. But you don't know. You sit down for that half-hour review, and they might have some queries that they haven't had the courage to muster up and ask. Maybe they want to clarify some things in their role, or who knows. So we're working on like a systematic way to have these performance reviews, not just with the newest part of the team, but everyone in the office, which I think something's been missing, and maybe we've been a bit fortunate thus far because of the culture in the office. Yeah.
And I think that's really smart to recognise that not just focusing on negatives or compliance pieces that you have to do, you're doing the ones that you want to do, and that's about communication for me. Staying close to those and knowing what's working, not just what's not working. Do you have regular check-ins?
Well, yeah, but like it's with the select few people, I guess. So there are some times that, because going back to personalities, some people are quiet, they don't speak up, and then maybe they all saying the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So the people that come to you and talk, you check in with them more, but then as you grow as a team, some people get left in the shadows. So I think it's a nice way to make sure everyone gets their time and is heard, and that's definitely something that you guys have helped us identify, and that we're going to map out properly and implement pretty soon.
Great. And our team, that's what they want.
Yeah, they're big on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can tell.
And it's so refreshing to be able to do the positive performance conversations, you know, not just the reactive.
Exactly.
And that's
I
want to
know what they're enjoying.
Yeah.
I want to know what they love doing.
Yeah.
You know, so does Carla. It helps us. Knowing that our staff are heard and heard or are loving their job, what they don't exactly love, like that's important. Mm-hmm. It's important, and we want to make sure it's happening.
No, I think that is super important. Otherwise, they're out there looking at Seek, and and I think that, you know, in all seriousness, most people spend the majority of their awake hours in the workplace or at work in some way, shape, or form. So it's got to really make it count, and that's what we're all about too. So hopefully we can partner with that, and exciting things ahead.
Prior to Purple Playground, we would go, if we were onboarding someone, say, I would look up the description and about, that person's earning 70 grand a year, let's pay our 75. But that's not always the case. And now when we do an onboarding process, you guys have a full deep dive into it. What's the minimum, what's the medium, what's a good pay? This is like, if you live here, this is what you should get. And so now I just feel like I used to actually stress about, am I paying the team correctly? I always thought I was. I always thought everyone was like paid well, but I would sometimes get a sales phone call. Are you paying your staff correctly? And I said, yeah, of course. But then you're left doubting yourself. Am I? So now I have this assurance that I am doing the right thing, that we're doing the right thing as a company, and it's frequently updated, which is nice. Even little things in terms of like super changes or all those little compliance things that pop up along the way that as a business owner, I don't know. I'm not reading up on those all the time, but it's nice that you guys bring that to my attention. And then another thing that prior to you guys, I just felt like I was so time poor. And now I've got a lot of time back because you guys have just helped take over these, I'm gonna call them mundane tasks that I had to quickly kind of do so I could get to things that were more important. But it shouldn't be that way, because what you guys are helping me with, that is important. It's like the business foundations. So instead of me feeling like I'm almost neglecting that or don't have enough time to actually do it properly, you guys are helping with that. I've got more time, I can do what I need to do.
No, that's really good to hear. Don't feel too special, because that's a lot of the reason why people come to us and go, I'm not sure if I'm compliant, I think I am. A lot of the people we work with, like yourself, Josh, are really believe, and they are majority of the time, paying people above award, but what they don't understand is the award moves, pay moves, and legislation changes. Last year alone, there was so many different changes in the Fair Work landscape. It was hard for us to keep up, to be honest, let alone each individual business. And so that's what we do. Our team live and breathe the awards, legislation, Fair Work, and then also the people side of it, to make sure that you can focus on your high value activities. You can have that sleep at night test, knowing that people are paid correctly, that it's the policies are in place, and it's there. We call it the rules of the game. We don't even call it policies, you know, in the compliance training, that stuff is there to really help you. And it's so refreshing to hear that it's relieved some of that stress for you and some of that worry. And so you can go on and focus on the more, it's your job too, you know, the more fun things. And that's one of our values, is we've got fun, strengths, and meaningful impact. And it sounds like we're making a meaningful impact working with yourself and your team. And we individually work through our strengths. Each of our team member does, you know, something a little bit different and brings that different area of expertise and knowledge. And then we want to make sure you're having fun too. And that's why we do role clarities. That's why we make things a little bit easier by systemizing processes. And so, and it really helps us to have fun if we like you.
Well, I am having more fun now.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for your time today. I do love hearing from my clients' perspectives and what the value our team has actually created for your business. And most importantly, we thrive on loving who we work with. So we think it's awesome watching your journey, and we're really privileged to be a part of the Made with Love journey. So
that's been, honestly, I'm so glad we started this working relationship together.
And we're not done yet.
No, we're not. No, no, far from it.